Hey, it's 2019, brand new year, and I've got my new rig here. I've got all my stuff. We're gonna film some stuff today on it, so come on in, let's check it out. This is it right here. It's my brand new Z21. I've got it fully rigged. I'm just getting all my gear put in it and stuff, getting ready for the new Bass Pro Tour season of Major League Fishing. Can't wait to take you through it and show you all the stuff that I have rigged on it. Well, let's start here at the back. You know, first and foremost, one of the things I'm really excited about is the new Mercury 250 Pro XS 4-stroke. You know, I got one last year, mid-season, and what an incredible engine. I mean, totally changed the game as far as being a top performer. It basically outperformed the previous 2-stroke Pro XS in every category, you know, in whole shot and low end and fuel economy. It's got an 85 amp alternator, top end. It's super smooth, it's got a great sound to it, and what I like more than anything, it is unbelievably reliable. So I am so proud to have this thing on the back of the boat. It is the most significant improvement in outboard technology in my 30-year career that I've seen. It's an amazing engine. You know, I've got the engine on an Atlas hydraulic jack plate. I got a black one this year, so it kind of matches the rest of the rig. What I love about a hydraulic jack plate like this Atlas is that, you know, if I'm in real shallow water, I can idle, get that engine up high, you know, through the grass and things like that. We're starting off on the Kissimmee chain, and I'm going to be going through a lot of pads, Kissimmee grass, things like that. So being able to idle through that shallow water and then be able to put the boat on plane in that super shallow water is important. With this Mercury 250 Pro XS, it's got an incredible hole shot. I can jack that jack plate up, pop it out of the hole in literally 2 foot of water without touching the bottom or anything like that, and save a lot of time. So it's a great setup. Definitely enhances your overall top performance too. You know, I can adjust the height of that engine. Perfect for the weight and balance that, you know, the load that I'm carrying in my Z21, you know, and I'm gonna get the maximum performance that way. It's just a really great setup. And another thing that Mercury has is a feature they call active trim. And it's something that I thought, you know, I know how to run the trim and it's not a big deal, but this active trim automatically adjusts the trim to the load of your boat, you know, to the conditions that you have out there, and it's pretty spot on. It's going to give you the best fuel economy, the best performance, and especially for a first-time, you know, boat user, that active trim just takes the guesswork out of knowing how to have your engine trimmed to take off, you know, through rough water or in a turn or things like that. It's going to maximize your performance at all levels. So it's a really cool feature that I thought I would never be interested in, but once I used it, I was sold on it. You know, I've got 2 talons on the back. I went with the 8-footers. You know, the great thing about, you know, the Minn Kota and Humminbird setup that I have is that all of this equipment works together. My talons are connected to my Humminbird depth finders, and it's all connected to my Ultrex. You know, when you have the Lake Master HD map on it, I can have this system do a lot of things for me. But, you know, having these 8-footers, they're shorter than the height of the engine. If I've got my trolling motor, you know, spot locked on a spot and I want to run to the back and fish straight out the back in a heavy wind, they're not in my way. If I'm fishing a jerk bait or something like that, they're just not tall. And if I need to anchor deeper than that, that Ultrex will do it for me. I mean, I'll put it on spot lock and it's going to keep me right there in that position. So to me, this is the perfect setup. I've got them on brackets that I can fold down. If I'm, you know, fishing big water, rough water where I'm not going to need them, I can actually lay them back if I need to. And it's just, to me, is a really great setup. I've got a YOLO Tech mount here for my GoPros. You know, one of the things this day and age is we're trying to get every shot, you know, when we're out there fishing tournaments, trying to get all those angles. And a GoPro does a great job of that. They're so wide. I've got them mounted, you know, front to back. We'll see them. But having one here really gives you that bird's eye view from the back of the boat. The other neat thing about this YOLO Tech stick is I've got a light for it. So if you want to, you know, have a light that will really shine through the whole boat instead of just your running light, you can pop that in there and, you know, put that light on there and work on your tackle early in the morning. So it's just it's a really neat feature that T&H Marine built into it by adding the light to it too. It's got USB ports, so you can charge, you know, your camera there from it. If you ever need to charge your phone or anything, it's another port for it too. So it's just a great setup. So one of the big changes for me this year is I got Lithium Pro batteries for my whole system. So, you know, I've been running lithium batteries for the last few years. I've been using the 36 volt version. and they are just incredible. So each battery weighs 27 pounds as opposed to a typical lead acid battery. You know, some of these AGMs that give, you know, not even as much output, you know, they're 90 pounds a piece. So I've got 4 of these 12-volt batteries here in the rear compartment. And the nice thing is I've got a ton of space, because now with this new Mercury engine, I don't have an oil injection system or anything at all for that, and it works out real well. So I've got my 3 12-volt trolling motor batteries. Again, they're the Lithium Pros. They weigh 27 pounds a piece, and I've got a crank battery over here on the side for it, and it gives me space where I've got my spare prop mounted, you know, right here in the back. You know, I can't take a chance, so I carry a lot of extra tools, a lot of extra equipment, things like that with me. This system works really good. You know, Nitro puts you know, a battery switch in the back here, so I can turn all the power off to everything in the boat. It's got a jump mode too, to where if I, you know, had the crank battery go down, that I can pull from these to actually crank the engine. It's really not a problem. With the alternator on this new Pro XS, it works phenomenal to charge that system. You know, I've got a Minn Kota 4-bank battery charger built in back here, so it charges all these at nighttime, get them topped off. And I also got a battery management switch to turn all the power off to my, you know, trolling motor system too. So one of the nice things that I like to have is being able to know that I have all the power cut to everything in the boat. So, you know, you don't have anything ever draining your system while your boat's sitting. So if it's in storage, you know, like it is this time of the year, I'm never having those batteries bleed down because they're, you know, pulling some power from your talons or something like that. So it's a really good system. So everything's nice and clean back here. Nitro makes, you know, a great system as far as having all the wiring connected to posts and things like that. It's just a real efficient system. It's easy to access all your pumps and things like that. Just makes it really nice from the back of the boat. You know, the real advantage of having, you know, these 4 lithium batteries is the amount of power that I have with them. For one thing, obviously my run time is incredible. They're hotter than a typical battery, so it ends up increasing the thrust on my trolling motor, but it's the weight savings. You know, I just never, ever, ever am gonna run out of power in a day. I could probably run them 2 or 3 days without charging them. But when you have 4 of them at 27 pounds a piece, I'm just over 100 pounds for all my batteries. And what I had before, if I had to use AGMs, is gonna be 360 pounds. So I'm basically saving over 250 pounds of weight by using these batteries and increasing the amount of power and runtime that I have for my trolling motor. So for somebody like myself, you know, even though they cost more, they last for years and years and years. My last set, you know, I ran them for 4.5 years and they still test at 99.9%. So, you know, they save you money over time, but they're just so much stronger, hotter, and lighter that it's something that I have to have, you know, being a competitive fisherman. This year I ordered a different little configuration. Instead of having the 3rd seat, I've got this extra little storage box here. You know, I can keep my remotes and things for my iPilot, or, you know, my extra remotes for my trolling motor. And that's what I love about the, you know, the Minn Kota Humminbird one boat network, is that I have so many options to be able to run everything. You know, I've got Gopro mounts already mounted on the console here. On each side, I've got one here on the deck level. I've got one up on the trolling motor. I've got the new Hero 7, and, you know, it's just a super easy camera to use. It networks to your phone. I can, you know, send all those videos or clips right away. You can post them to your social channels and things like that. It's just a great way to do it. You know, here at the console, I've got, you know, 2 Humminbird Helix 12s, and, you know, everything's, you know, right at your fingertips. I got a stereo in the boat this year. You know, you got to listen to the Metallica and stuff in the morning, so I got my stereo and everything. You know, you got a RAM cell phone holder here. There's a charge port for your phone there. All your controls are here. And again, you know, with the new Mercury system, I can see all my gauges and everything to do with the engine right on the depth finder screens now. So, you know, I typically use one for mapping and one for sonar. And with the LakeMaster HD system, I mean, the maps are just absolutely incredible. You know, you can do a lot of things with them, and especially now with the Ultrex You know, I can get it to follow a contour line on my LakeMaster map and things like that. And I can, you know, go to waypoints with my trolling motor. Having all of this network together is a huge advantage to me. You know, to have my Talons, my Humminbirds, and my trolling motor all linked, all thinking together, all working together. It adds a lot of features and really helps me with boat control. So it's a really awesome system. You know, the seats themselves in the Z21 are pretty awesome. They really cradle you. I mean, it's really well designed. I've got you know, lumbar support. It's a power seat. You can blow it up. I can kind of adjust it to my own comfort level. Of course, obviously you can move them back and forth, you know, for the length of your legs. I've got a TH Marine hot foot. I love that system because it keeps, you know, both hands on the wheel. You know, I don't have to worry about throttle control over here. All I got to do is put it in gear and I can control everything from here. I've got the T handles for the jack plate and for my trim. Just makes it a really good system. And again, I've got my depth finders right here. They're mounted, you know, on the console side by side, but I got good vision over the top of them, so it works out really well. I've got, for safety, you know, I've got a locker bar, and that to me is something that it's a good visual lock. You know, if I'm in some sketchy places, I can have that in. It's got an alarm built into it too. But on top of that too, you know, I've got a TH alarm system too, a two-way alarm system for my boat. I can set that, and you know, when you pull into a hotel at night or something like that, if somebody actually touches this rig, you know, they try to open a lid, they step on your trailer, do anything like that, it's going to set that alarm off. So, you know, the locker bars are a great visual, you know, tool to keep people from messing with anything in your boat. But this right here, that two-way alarm is definitely something that just gives me a ton of peace of mind. It's already saved me several times where I've had, and I don't know why or who or what, but it's gone off. I'll be in my hotel room sleeping at night, and you know, all of a sudden the key fob will vibrate and buzz and let you know that hey, somebody's messing with your stuff. And you go out there and I can see that, hey, it already scared them away. So it's a great system. As much as I've got invested in my tackle and equipment, I don't want to take any chances on any of that. If you notice too, I've got a lot of lights in the boat. So these are TH Marine rock lights, and I really love them. It's a great setup to have for, you know, low light conditions, to work on your tackle. I like the red-white combination because the bugs aren't drawn to the red. You know, they definitely are drawn to white light, so I don't want to have too much white light there. And you know, I can be getting ready, working on my tackle early in the morning, and I can see what's going on. I've got them under the console so it lights the floor of the boat. I've got them in the back. And if you look on the trailer, these are my favorite ones. So I've got white lights mounted right on top of the frame. It shines up on the boat as you're driving down the road. The big thing there is, you know, rainy, dark nights when I'm, you know, traveling to the next tournament, things like that. Everybody around you can see your rig. You know, they're not gonna know that you're not pulling the trailer, not gonna see all those lights on there. And I can really see it too. So if you're, you know, in a tight parking lot or you're trying to back it into a hotel, you know, space, things like that, it really helps me see exactly where my trailer is and everything like that. So to me, those are something that once I had them the first time, I've absolutely got to have it. You know, I've got my brand new Minn Kota Ultrex. This is, you know, the latest motor out there, and I had one last year, and it's a game changer. There's no doubt about it that having the GPS built in and the features like spot lock and that, where it just holds you in place and you don't have to worry about anything but catching the fish, you know, to lock you in that spot. There's no doubt that that's a huge advantage. But this little thing right here, this addition, is one of the greatest things that's going to help this season with these new Gen 3 units and this new built-in mega imaging transducer into the trolling motor. I don't have to have any external transducer on here anymore. I get absolutely zero interference. That's probably the biggest advantage of this, is I'm going to get the clearest picture, the clearest screens that I've ever seen with the best detail, whether you know, I'm using down imaging or mega image, you know, the side imaging, mega imaging, 2D sonar. It's crystal clear. It's built in, there's nothing I have to worry about it, and it just really enhanced the overall clarity. And when you're looking for subtle structural changes, subtle differences in hard and soft bottom, and you're looking for the fish to be able to see, hey, is that a bass, or is it an Asian carp, or whatever you're looking for in the system, it just gives me that much more of a detailed picture. And again, I've got all the features on the Ultrex that it has, and with it being linked to my Lake Master mapping and that, it's so nice because I can have it again follow a depth contour line. I can go to a wave point. I can be sitting down retying my drop shot rig, and my boat can be actually taking me to the next spot. So there's, the functionality of it is incredible. And again, because I can use the remotes, I can use the foot pedal, I can actually run it off the depth finder screen if I want to. They're all linked together, they're all connected. It is truly the one boat network at its finest. I've got the 360 imaging mounted to it also here. I've got that depth finder mounted on a TH Marine wave tamer. It's super solid, and what I really like about this wave tamer is it gets it above the trolling motor recess pedal there, brings that much closer to me. It's dead center where I can see it, and it's rock solid. I mean, in the roughest water, it's not going to move or anything like that. It's just a really good setup from that scenario. I've got my talon foot switch right here, so I can put my talons up and down by foot. I also have a remote that I can do it with. Just as unlimited to whatever the setup is or whatever type of boat that you use. They make it really easy to manage all of your electronics, your talons, your trolling motor. It's just, the functionality of it is incredible. I've got a Kvd Hydra Wave here. What I love about a Hydra Wave is that it really creates the sounds. What a Hydra Wave does is it imitates the sounds of bass and bait fish. Well, what we did on the Kvd model is some of my favorite sound patterns, or you want to call them songs. They're blends of different bait fish sounds, of bass eating bait fish, all the different crawfish sounds, blueback herring, all the different forage species, bluegills and that. And we have some kind of preset patterns for certain specific conditions, like offshore fishing, fishing grass, things like that, all built in. And so all you have to do is go in, turn it on, set the sound pattern that you want. If you want a delay, it's really easy to do and really easy to set up. I've got the speaker mounted here on the trolling motor. It's mounted on the top, which really gives it great protection for it. And the way these speakers are designed, it's omnidirectional, the way sound travels in water. So it really, it doesn't matter if you mount it on the top, bottom, or wherever, it's gonna send the sound everywhere. A Hydra Wave has become, one of the things that just about every serious bass fisherman on tour won't live without. I mean, it just makes a difference. A lot of times it'll activate the fish. I can't tell you how many times I've been going down the bank, and I usually always run mine with a delay, and it is one of those things where you'll hear it, you'll hear the Hydra Wave start to play, and all of a sudden one will come up schooling 20 feet away. So, it makes the bait nervous, it makes the bass a little bit nervous, and it's a great trigger to get everything fired up and get these fish active. And once you get a school of bass biting, a lot of times that Hydra Wave will be it's that sound that keeps those fish excited, keeps them actually feeding, keeps them biting. So it's just a great tool that I think every serious bass fisherman ought to have. The Z21 itself is an incredible boat. They really do a great job with every aspect. The trailer is designed just for this one boat. It pulls down the road super smooth. I've got the step to get in and out of it very easily, and this boat's really going to handle the water really in any situation that I've been faced with. I've been running a Nitro for my whole career. It truly is, I think, the best boat and the best value in the bass fishing world, and the Z21 is the pinnacle. It's the flagship of that platform. So, I mean, no matter what size boat you're looking for, there's a Nitro that'll definitely fit your needs. But a Z21, for what I do, fishing, the big tournaments and on big bodies of water, there's nothing better than this rig. So you can see right here, I've got my super stick strapped right here in the back. I mean, we're not allowed to use nets or anything on this Z21. They do a great job with the live well system. They put your measuring board, right between it there. It's got a dual live well system that's baffled. There's net storage that sits behind the seat so it's out of the way, but it's also the perfect spot to fit this Super Stick push pole. I'm starting off in Florida. That's a place, definitely where a push pole really comes into play. I like to have it there all the time. You never know when you get into some of these shallow places that you want to be real quiet, or that you might get stuck and need to be able to push off. Our rules say that we can't leave the boat, so this is something that you absolutely have to have. Another neat little thing that I have is I've got a gauge to manage both my crank engine battery and my trolling battery, and it's just, I have it mounted right here beside me, and it's one of those things that, more importantly, I can tell if I've ever have a problem with my system, if you ever have a battery cell go out or anything like that. So it's kind of an insurance thing. I mounted one of my quick detachable Talon controls right here, right beside me. I also, you can hang one around your neck. I've got the foot switch up there, but I like to have one here right at the console. So, if I'm pulling up to the dock or things like that, want to, get ready to tie up to put it on the trailer, I can just hit the up switch or the down switch right here, right while I'm sitting at the console. So, you can pull up to a dock now and you don't even have to tie your boat off with a rope. You can just put the talons down and it'll lock that boat right in place, even in the wind, things like that, to where it's not going to move away from the dock or anything like that. And you can go get your truck and back it down the ramp and be ready to go. So a lot of really neat things that we have with this technology, a lot of uses for it. We're not lazy, we just like to make it easy on ourselves. A couple of cool accessories that I got from TH Marine that really are nice is, one is a G-force handle. It's a stainless cable that's coated with a really good handle on it. I've got that to lift and deploy the trolling motor. And I also have a wave tamer on it. So this right here mount is just a rock solid way. So in the roughest water, this motor does not jiggle or move 1 inch, takes all the vibration out of it. So really helping preserve the trolling motor and the mount itself by having that. So all I got to do is hit this lever with my foot and pull the cord, the G-force handle, and I can deploy that trolling motor real easy. It's got a built-in gas assist, so you're not lifting the weight of the motor. It really makes it easy. But that wave tamer just locks that motor down to the deck. Even in the roughest conditions, it's not going to move. You do that and strap this down. If you're on Lake Erie or Lake St. Clair on the roughest days, that motor is just rock solid, and it's not taking that pounding up here, like it would if you didn't have those on it. Another really nice feature is this eliminator nut. This is something that came out a couple of years ago, and it's just a game changer, for balancing your trolling motor. It's real heavy, it's machined aluminum. You can screw it on and off to, get to the back of the prop to see if there's any fishing line or anything on there. But it's nice and heavy, and it really balances that motor out. It makes the prop more efficient and really a lot more quieter. You don't have near the sound coming off of your prop as you're going through cover and weeds and things like that. And again, when that motor's turning, it's self-tightening, so it's not going to loosen or come off. It really makes a difference in how smooth and quiet your motor is going to operate. So it's a great thing to have on your boat. If you want to learn more about what it's like out on the tournament trail, follow me on social media, go to my YouTube channel, or go to KevinVanDam.com.